Operating systems and firewalls, Microsoft Server 2022 and Ubuntu Server 24 by Haley Bell. Today the introduction is we're going to be talking about two different operating systems, Microsoft 2022 and Ubuntu 24. What are operating systems? Core software managing hardware and software services. What are firewalls? Security systems that monitor and control incoming and outgoing network traffic. Objectives of this presentation, we'll be going over, like I said earlier, the Microsoft Server 2022 versus the Ubuntu Server 24, firewall services, Windows versus Linux. Let's start with Microsoft Server 2022. We have the technical details. Let's start off by talking about the number one editions. You have Standard, Data Center, and Data Center Azure Edition. For the Standard, it's basic features for small amount businesses, limited virtualization. For the Data Center, it's full-featured, unlimited visualization, software-defined storage or networking. And for the Data Center Azure Edition, Cloud fits first edition with Azure Stack HCI integration. Number two, system requirements. You have the processors that is a 1.4 GSS, that's a 64-bit processor minimum, supports Time64 architect with support from Intel or AMD virtualization. The RAM is a minimum of 512 megabyte, that's 2 gigabytes for desktop experience. It's recommended that you have 32 gigabytes or more. The storage is a minimum of 32 GM. That's for GUI. More would be recommended. Supports REFS and NTFS, network, GigsNet, Ethernet adapter, PICs, boot capable for deployment. Let's go on, continue for the technical details of Microsoft Server 2022. We have the technical features. You have the security enhancements, a secured core server, and it's a trusted platform module for TPM. It's 2.0 support, hardened-based root of trust, and virtualization-based security plus hypervision protected code integrity, as well as advanced SMB encryption. Another one of the key technical features, networking improvements. And you got HTTPS and TLC 1.3 enabled by default for better security. For SMB compression, it transfers compressed files during network coffee. Improved QUIC support for faster secure connectivity without a VPN. For the virtualization and containers, you got a Hyper-V for virtual machines, Windows containers with reduced image size, and Kubernetes support improvement. We have storage enhancements, storage migration services improvements, include improvements, storage space direct from high availability and resiliency. And then you got hybrid cloud integration, deep integration with Azure Arc for centralized management, Azure Auto Manage for configuration and patch automation, seamless backup and disaster recovery with Azure. We'll continue with 4 and 5. Number 4, management tools, Windows Admin Center, WAC, modern browsers-based management console. You got PowerShell supports the automation. You got traditional server manager and MMC tools. Number 5, performance and scalability. Supports 48 gigabyte RAM and 2048 logical processors per server, optimized for workloads like SQL Server, enterprise apps, and virtualization. Lower latency, networking with UDP, performance and improvements. Okay, now we're moving on to the Ubuntu Server 24 technical details. Number 1, we got the release date. It was released April 25th, 2024. Codename Noble Numbat. Excuse me. Support 5 years of standard updates up until April 2029. 10 plus years with extended security maintenance, ESM. Kernel is Linux kernel 6.8, modern hardware support, security patches, performance optimization. Ubuntu technical details continue. Number 2, system requirements is a processor of 1G HS CPU, 64 gigabyte multi-source recommended. RAM minimum of 1 gigabyte and recommended 2 gigabytes plus for server workloads. Storage minimum of 2.5 gigabyte for base install and recommended 20 gigabytes or more depending on the application. Networking, IPv4, IPv6, cloud, and its support for automated deployments. Number 4, virtualization and containerization. KVM is kernel-based virtual machines, full virtualization. LXD, system container and virtual machine manager. Docker and Podman supported for containers. Kubernetes and micro K8s for container orchestration. Optimized for cloud-native workloads. OpenStack, AWS, Azure. Number 5, package and software management. You got your advanced package tool with depth packages, snap packages for isolated self-contained apps, over 60,000 packages in official repos. Use systemd for service management. Number 6, performance and scalability. Lightweight, minimal install, footprint, 2.5 gigabytes. Scales for single board devices, Raspberry Pi to high performance clusters, optimized for AI/MI workloads, cloud hosting, web servers. Supports non-uniform memory access and multi-CPU systems. Number 7, management tools. Cloud Init for automated virtual machine or cloud provisioning. Ansible Puppet Chef for automation and config management. Landscape for monitoring and compliance. Full CLI-based management, lightweight GUIs available if needed. So here we're going to be talking about 3 hardening recommendations for Windows Server 2022. We have 1, updates and patching, 2, identity and access control, and network and protocols. 3, the hardware recommendations for Ubuntu 24. We got endpoint, system security, monitoring and logging, and identity and access control. And we want to talk about endpoint and system security. It has, you would enable app armor as a default. Along what comes with it is encrypts disk or partitions with LUKS. Restrict cron jobs of system admins. It uses advanced intrusion detection environment to monitor file integrity. With monitoring and logging, you will use journaled and logs to central SIEM. Enable audit D for system call auditing. Monitor SSH activity in privilege escalation logs. Deploys Prometheus or Landscape for system monitoring. Windows Firewall. For Windows, that would be the Microsoft Server 2022. The firewall for that is Windows. It's also known as Windows Defender Firewall. So Microsoft Windows built-in security feature to protect against unauthorized access and network threats. It will do traffic filtering. It inspects data packets that enter and exit the computer. This allows or blocks users based on configured rules. Profiles are to help adjust security levels based off connection. They include the domain, private, and public. In summary, Windows is a host-based firewall that adds layer of protection by controlling network traffic. That's what's going in and what's going out. This protective layer prevents hackers, malware, unauthorized applications from harming the system. Linux firewalls, IP tables, we're going to talk about this. IP tables is a utility in Linux that allows administrators to configure the packet filtering rules of the Linux kernel's NetFilter framework. It is the most widely used firewall mechanism in Linux for controlling network traffic. The packet filtering is where IP tables inspects network packets and applies rules either to allow, drop, or reject. It's going to do chains and tables. Chains are a sequence of rules in each table. You got input, output, and forward for the chains. For the tables, they define the type of processing. This includes filter, NAT, and mangle. For the filters, the default table for allowing or denying traffic. NAT is the network address translation. Mangle, pack identification. Rule speculations are filters by source or destination IP addresses, protocols as TCP, UDP, ICP. Port and interfaces and connection states, either new, established, or related. In summary, Linux IP tables is a powerful firewall that creates great control over network traffic, supporting filtering, NAT, and packet. Oops, let's go back. Packet mangling. In summary, we went over today was the Microsoft server is designed for enterprise-grade security, hybrid cloud, and virtualization, making it strong for organizations that need Windows ecosystem integration and Azure cloud capabilities. We talked about the operating system. Ubuntu Server 24.04 is an open source cloud native source and scalable server operating system optimized for containers, virtualization, and modern workloads across bare metal, cloud, and edge environments. To harden Windows Server 2022, focus on patching, least privilege, secure authentication, strong firewall rules, endpoint protection, encryption, and centralized monitoring. It'll focus on Active Directory security, RDP protection, Defender integration, and Azure hybrid management. And Ubuntu Server 24.04 hardening emphasizes SSH security, package patching, firewall rules, intrusion prevention, and file integrity monitoring. The IP tables we talked about, so very powerful. That's the firewall for Linux. That gives a fine-grained control over network traffic, supporting filtering, NAT, and packet mangling, making it the core tool for the Linux server security. Windows firewall we talked about is host-based firewall that adds a strong layer of protection by controlling the network traffic going in and out, stops malware, hackers, or unauthorized users that could harm the system. IP tables, very powerful Linux firewall. It gives a fine-grained control over network traffic, supporting filtering, NAT, and packet mangling. This is just my works cited page that goes over all the sources that I used. And that is all. Thank you guys so much.